buy bottled water because you think it is the pure, safe, clean choice. Here is what the industry would rather you not think about. A lot of it is tap water. Some of it has more arsenic than your faucet, and every bottle is quietly shedding plastic into the water you are about to drink. We are talking about a study that found 240,000 plastic particles in a single liter, Forever Chemicals in name brand water, and a premium spring water that was recalled for arsenic and is legal in a bottle but would be illegal coming out of a tap in some states. I went through a study in the proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, Consumer Reports Testing, and the FDA's own recall records. Americans now drink more bottled water than any other packaged drink, paying up to 1,000 times the price of tap for it, and it is not the sure thing you have been sold. But stay with me, because I will show you 3 options that are cleaner, cheaper, and smarter than any bottle on that shelf. Stay until the end, because number 1 is in almost every bottle. It is invisible, and once you know about it, you cannot unsee it. Bottled water is one of the great marketing triumphs of the last 50 years. Companies took something that flows nearly free from your tap, put it in a plastic bottle with a picture of a mountain, and convinced you it was worth a premium. And to be clear up front, to keep us fair, most bottled water in America is genuinely safe to drink, and tap water is not automatically perfect either. This is not a scare video telling you that your water will hurt you tomorrow. It is a video about the gap between what the bottle promises and what is actually true. Here is what every item on this list has in common. 3 red flags. 1. It is documented, peer-reviewed studies, Consumer Reports lab tests, FDA records. Not rumor. If I could not source it, it is not here. 2. It hides behind an image. A mountain, a glacier, the word pure. The branding is doing work the water cannot back up. 3. There is a better, cheaper answer, and I will give it to you at the end. Let's count down. Number 7. A lot of it is literally tap water. At number 7, the open secret of the whole aisle. 2 of the best-selling bottled waters in America, Aquafina, made by Pepsi, and Dasani, made by Coca-Cola, are not spring water at all. They are purified municipal tap water. The same water that comes out of your faucet, run through a filter, put in a plastic bottle, and sold back to you at a massive markup. Aquafina's own label was changed years ago to admit its public water source. Think about the economics for a second. Tap water costs a fraction of a penny per gallon. That bottle can cost you the equivalent of hundreds or even thousands of times more for water that started in the exact same place. You are not paying for purity, you are paying for the plastic, the label, and the convenience. Number 7 is about your wallet. From here, it gets into what is actually in the bottle. The bottle itself sheds into your water. At number 6, the container is part of the problem. Most bottled water comes in PET plastic, and that plastic does not just sit there inertly. Over time, it can leach compounds into the water, including antimony, a metal used in making the plastic. And here's the part that should change your habits immediately. Heat makes it worse. A case of water bottles left in a hot car, a garage, or a delivery truck in summer sun can leach more of these compounds into the water than a bottle kept cool. So the water you grabbed because it felt clean and safe may have spent a week baking in a warehouse, quietly absorbing the container it came in. The bottle is not a neutral vessel, it is an ingredient. Number 6 is what the plastic gives off. Number 5 is what the water carries in. Forever Chemicals in name brand water. At number 5, a class of chemicals designed to never break down, PFAS, nicknamed Forever Chemicals because they can linger in your body and the environment almost indefinitely, have been linked in research to a range of health concerns. When Consumer Reports tested 47 bottled waters, it found detectable PFAS in several, with carbonated waters generally worse than still. The highest in their test was Topo Chico, made by Coca-Cola, and PFAS turned up in other familiar names including Perrier, LaCroix, and Canada Dry. In fairness, the levels were mostly below the limits the industry cites. The Bottled Water Trade Group challenged the testing method, and several brands said their own testing found lower or undetectable levels. But here is the tell: it took until 2024 for the EPA to set its first ever enforceable limits for these chemicals in drinking water, meaning for years there was no hard federal line at all. Number 5 is the chemical chemical you cannot taste. Number 4 is the metal you definitely do not want. Arsenic in premium spring water. At number 4, a heavy metal in a bottle that costs more, not less. Consumer Reports tested more than 130 bottled waters and repeatedly flagged one in particular, Starkey Spring Water, owned by Whole Foods. Its arsenic levels came in around 3 times Consumer Reports' recommended safety level, just under the federal legal limit, but high enough that Whole Foods had already recalled thousands of cases years earlier when regulators found it over the line, and the brand faced consumer lawsuits over it. To be fair, Whole Foods says the product meets all FDA requirements and is third-party tested, and drinking a single bottle will not harm you, but arsenic is not something you want to sip regularly. It is linked to cardiovascular problems, certain cancers, and lower IQ in children. And here is the absurd part, which I promise pays off at number 1. That same arsenic level is legal in a bottle, but would be illegal coming out of a household tap in states like New Jersey and New Hampshire, which set stricter limits than the federal one. Now, if premium water can be legally dirtier than your faucet, wait until you see the thing that is in nearly every bottle at number 1. Spring, glacier, mountain. The label is a costume. At number 3, the imagery that sells the whole category. Look at a wall of bottled water and count the mountains, glaciers, waterfalls, and dewdrops. That artwork is doing an enormous amount of persuading, and it is often disconnected from where the water actually came from. Beyond the purified tap brands we covered, many waters use vague, evocative language. Mountain, glacier, natural, pure, that has little regulated meaning and does not tell you the real source or how it was treated. Spring water has a specific definition, but the pristine wilderness picture on the front does not guarantee the pristine wilderness reality inside. As with every video on this channel, the front of the label is marketing, and the truth, if it is anywhere, is in the small print. When a product has to sell you a feeling with a photograph, ask what the facts on the back actually say. Number 3 dresses it up. Number 2 is the metal we cannot leave alone. It's often regulated less than your tap, not more. At number 2, the assumption at the center of the entire bottled water business, that it is more tightly controlled than tap, and why it is mostly backwards. Your tap water is regulated by the EPA, which requires frequent, ongoing testing, and every public system must publish an annual report of exactly what is in it. Bottled water is regulated by the FDA, more like a packaged food, and the FDA has not meaningfully updated its arsenic standard for bottled water in over 15 years. Recalls of bottled water happen quietly, with far less attention than a tap water crisis would get. So the product you're buying specifically to escape your faucet is, in several real ways, watched less closely than the faucet itself. You are paying a premium for the feeling of oversight, while getting less of the real thing. Number 2 is the oversight you thought you were paying for. Number 1 is the thing no oversight is catching yet. 240,000 plastic particles in every liter. At number 1, the finding that should change how you drink water for good. In January 2024, researchers at Columbia University published a study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences using a new laser-based imaging method to count the tiniest plastic fragments in bottled water. What they found is staggering: an average of 240,000 plastic particles in a single liter, between 110,000 and 370,000 across the brands tested. That is 10 to 100 times more than older studies had ever detected, and 90% of them were nanoplastics, particles so small they can pass out of your gut and lungs directly into your bloodstream, travel to your organs including your heart and brain, invade individual cells, and even cross the placenta into an unborn baby. Here's the honest caveat, and it matters. Scientists do not yet fully agree on what all of this does to human health. They are racing to find out, but the researchers who ran the study drew their own conclusion very clearly. The best way to cut your exposure is to drink filtered tap water from a glass or steel container instead of a plastic bottle. When the people who counted the particles stopped buying the product, that tells you something. That is the real lesson of this list. The 3 things that are actually better. Now, here's the good news, because the fix is cheaper and simpler than the problem. Here are 3 ways to beat every trick you just saw. Number 3, get a certified home water filter. Not every filter is equal, so look for one certified to the NSF/ANSI standards for the specific things you care about. Lead, PFAS, arsenic. A good undersink or pitcher filter, matched to what is actually in your water, removes far more than the purity you were buying by the bottle, at a tiny fraction of the cost. Number 2, filtered tap in a stainless steel or glass bottle. This is the exact recommendation from the scientists who ran the nanoplastic study. A reusable metal or glass bottle does not shed plastic into your water, does not bake in a warehouse for months, and costs you almost nothing per refill. It is the single highest impact swap on this entire list. Cleaner water, no plastic, pennies a gallon. And number 1, read your own water report and know your tap. Here's the empowering secret the bottled water industry needs you to forget. You do not have to buy trust in a plastic bottle. Every public water system in America is required to publish an annual water quality report. It will tell you exactly what is in your tap, contaminant by contaminant. Read yours. If it flags something, filter for that specific thing. Suddenly, the water in your house is not a mystery you are paying to escape. It is a known quantity you can fix for pennies. The scam at the bottom of this video sells you fear of your own faucet. The truth is your faucet is knowable, fixable, and often better watched than the bottle. That is the whole difference. So that is the list. The purest thing in the store turned out to be plastic filled, sometimes tap, occasionally dirtier than your sink, and watched less closely than the water you already pay for. Here is your rule from today. Stop buying cases of plastic water on autopilot. Get a certified filter, fill a steel or glass bottle, and look up your local water report once. You will save hundreds of dollars a year and drink cleaner water doing it. And here is the thing, what you just saw with water is not unique to water. The same game, a wholesome image on the front, a very different story on the back, is sitting in your refrigerator right now in something as simple as a stick of butter. Wait until you see what is legally allowed to be called butter. That video is on your screen now. I'll see you there.